Originally, I wasn't even planning to buy this particular Nintendo Switch 2 game, but now that I have, I actually cannot stop playing it. And the game in question is Fantasy Life I, A Girl Who Steals Time. And it's not that I had anything against the game that was going to stop me from buying it. I just never played a Fantasy Life before, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. But I recently had some extra GameStop credit, and I decided to grab an eShop card and picked it up on a whim for my Nintendo Switch 2, and now I'm completely hooked. I genuinely cannot stop playing this game. Now, what is Fantasy Life I for those who do not know? Well, Fantasy Life I, A Girl Who Steals Time is an RPG life sim combo game that combines elements from games like RuneScape with the 13 lives or skills in the game, the Animal Crossing style of the town building aspect you find in Fantasy Life, and it kind of reminds me of a top-down Zelda game with its art style and gameplay. It's a culmination of just a lot of good games that I really like personally that makes for an extremely addicting experience. It was originally released on the Nintendo Switch right before the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2, but they did put out a Switch 2 upgrade for just a small fee of like just shy of $3, which I thought was a bit of a steal for how much fun this game is. Now, the story of Fantasy Life I puts you behind the wheel of an adventurer who has joined an archaeology team following the path led by an ancient dragon skeleton that leads you to an uncharted island. Upon arriving at said island, you are attacked and the skeleton dragon magically returns to life, teleporting you through time to when a thriving civilization inhabited this particular island. And this sets the course for the rest of the game, where you will be traveling back and forth between time periods and uncover the secrets of what happened to the civilization. The story is interesting and honestly has fantastic humor. I found myself laughing out loud quite a few times at some of the jokes, even in the side quests that the characters were bringing up. And the best part is that this game runs absolutely beautifully on the Nintendo Switch 2 at 60 frames per second. I've literally not seen a single hiccup or frame dip the entire time I've been playing this game, which is fantastic. However, I have heard that the Switch 1 version of this game does have some issues as far as frames go, so be aware if you're planning to pick this game up if you still have a Nintendo Switch 1. I haven't heard that the game's unplayable on Switch 1, it just looks way better on Switch 2, so just look into the gameplay perspective if you're planning on grabbing this for your original Switch system. Now, the main gameplay component that will have you hooked on this game is the concept of the lives that you undertake in Fantasy Life. Lives are the 13 different skills that make up what you'll be doing in Fantasy Life I. These skills range from gathering lives like fishing or woodcutting or mining, combat lives like paladin or mercenary, or crafting lives like blacksmithing or tailoring. And each of these lives allows you to interact with different parts of the game, and some work together. For example, woodcutting allows you to collect lumber, which then you can turn into different items and level up your carpenter life. Each of these lives have their own little storyline and quest to undertake, which really fleshes the game out with tons of content for you to dive into. Another fun component that adds even more to the live aspect of this game is that each life has their own skill tree, so as you level each individual life up, you will be able to unlock new passive and active skills to make you better and better at each individual skill. And initially, I was concerned. There are 13 lives in this game. That's a lot of different stuff to do. I was worried about how I would be able to manage each of these lives and level them up accordingly. However, I quickly had this issue dismissed when I found that as soon as you interact with an object that is pertaining to a particular life, you automatically swap to that life. So say I was previously in combat, I have my weapons and armor out, and I walk up to a tree, I would immediately swap into my woodcutting gear to cut that tree down and immediately swap to that skill and gain experience in that, which is just so freaking nice. And it makes managing all of these different lives that you're working on incredibly simple. Now, combat in this game is also tied to your lives, which I think is pretty cool. There are 4 different combat lives for you to dive into. There's the paladin that wears the bulky heavy armor and uses a sword and shield to play a bit more of a defensive role. There's the mercenary that wields a large two-handed sword that moves a bit more slowly but deals massive damage. Then there's the hunter, which wields the bow to lay down some ranged attack, and the magician, which is your mage sort of class that uses magic to defeat the enemies. And all the combat lives have their own unique playstyle and skills, as well as their own armors and weapons to craft and collect, giving you a variety of different ways to play the game just by swapping your combat life. And all of them are very fun to play. Honestly, I find myself swapping a lot. Originally, I was really into the paladin class and I was playing a lot of paladin, but just recently, when I was doing some extra footage capturing for this video, I really got into the magician lifestyle, and I've been leveling that up, and that's kind of become the life that I've decided to roll with for the time being. So there's just always something to swap to that just kind of changes how the game plays and how you interact with it. It's just so good in that way. Now, there are 3 locations within Fantasy Li-Fi that you will be regularly exploring. There is the island in the present day where you will be doing most of your town building escapades. There is an island in the past that's called Eternia, and there is also Ginomorcia. And that is a huge open world location full of dungeons and collectibles, resources, bosses, and challenges for you to uncover. Now, the island in ancient times is where you'll be going to unlock and rank up your lives, as well as all the life masters residing there. It has an ancient Aztec looking vibe to it and tons of wilderness surrounding to explore and discover, as well as some additional islands surrounding that you will explore as you progress through the story. And this seems to be where the majority of the main story is taking place. You will be bouncing back and forth between the past and the present to do the story, but it seems like a lot of the key components of the story are happening in this location. Now, the island in the present was where your home base of sorts is located. And this is where you're doing a lot of the Animal Crossing style decorations. And you will return here frequently to continue to progress the main story like I previously mentioned, but the customizable portion is kind of what the gameplay loop is at this location. You'll be able to change the terrain, build decorations and furniture, and really customize it how you like. This aspect of the game feels very, very much like games like Animal Crossing, and the more you upgrade your crafting skills, the more decorations and furniture you can build to decorate this island how you see fit. Now, the third area, Ginomorcia, is definitely the spot where you're going to spend a fair chunk of your time. This is the big open world location, and a lot of this has to do with just the sheer amount of content that's packed into it. There are additional enemies scattered all over. There is resources to collect and level up your gathering and crafting skills with, collectibles to find in the form of these little flower people that remind me a lot of Koroks in Legend of Zelda, mount drops, bosses, shrines, and even challenges that you can see on your map that can range from gathering resources and location quickly or taking out a pack of enemies. And these challenges will give you additional rewards based on your completion time. The big thing with this open world zone is it has its own tier-based system. So as you do more stuff in a particular region on this map, you will get points that you can then spend to upgrade the tier of the location that you're in. By doing this, you will increase the level of difficulty of the enemies, the level of resources that you can collect. So you'll have higher level trees to cut down, higher level mining outcrops to knock down. All of this scales and will earn you additional currency to continue upgrading each zone, which is kind of where the deep level of content comes in this zone, because you're going to be spending so much time ranking up each of the individual locations, finding new resources, and as you level it up, more and more powerful resources are going to show up. You'll be able to find more things to craft legendary gear with, and there's just so much content packed into this location in the game. It is so satisfying to come here and play. And the nice thing is with these 3 zones, just like managing your lives is super simple because you can swap back and forth, it's very simple to just fast travel back and forth between the 3 main locations in this game. And you'll unlock this simply by progressing far enough in the story, and you'll just be able to teleport between each of the locations either by fast traveling or a literal teleportation thing in your menu. And also, while you're exploring Ginomorcia, you'll find these little inanimate objects that are in fact animate. There's like dressers with eyeballs and they talk, or there's different flags that talk. There's different items that you'll find that talk, and by taking them back to your home base, you'll be able to turn them back into their human forms, which then gives you access to more companions to take on your adventures. And the companions are really nice because they give you bonuses in certain skills. So for example, if you want to work on mining, you can get a whole party of mining companions, go out, and they will help you with mining to make sure that you can take down stronger, more powerful mining outcrops than you might previously be unable to do if you didn't have those. So it's kind of cool and a really fun balancing system, finding these, turning them back into their normal forms, and then having more companions. I really like this aspect of the game. And then on top of all of this, there are also side quests. There's NPCs scattered all over the place, and they'll have side missions for you to complete that can range from gathering objects, crafting them something, or taking out a pack of enemies. There's just content everywhere in this game. Now, there is also multiplayer in this game, which I think is really cool. And the multiplayer is something you could do with friends or random people online. This can range from resource collecting lobbies to monster farming to running the treasure trove, which is like a randomized dungeon that you can complete. And admittedly, I have not done a ton of multiplayer, mainly because I don't have a ton of people to play this game with in my friend group, but also because a lot of players in the lobbies are much higher level than myself. Regardless of the fact that I haven't played a ton of it, it is cool that it is there, and I plan to dive deeper into it later down the line. But as it sits right now, I'm having a great time playing this game solo, and I can't put this game down while playing solo. So right now I'm unbothered by the multiplayer, not being something that I'm partaking in a bunch, but later down the road, I'm probably going to be really interested in diving into that. Now, what is the end game of this? This is very much like an MMORPG style game. So what are you doing once you finish up the story in this particular game? Well, the end game really comes in the form of being able to craft yourself legendary equipment, tools, and weapons, allowing you to take on more and more challenging content. And also with the 13 lives to level up, there's a massive amount of time that you could just put into this section of the game in particular. I believe each life goes to level 100, and I don't have a single life over level 25 at this time. So definitely something that you can sink a ton of time into playing this game is just leveling up those lives. So in conclusion, my final thoughts on Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. This was a game, like I said, I had no intention of buying, but good lord, am I glad that I did. There is so much content packed into this game that I will be playing this game for months and possibly years to come, because they did say they're working on DLC for this game as well. Leveling up each of my lives is something I find incredibly enjoyable, and I found myself a handful of times getting home from work, kicking this game on, and just spending a couple hours chopping trees or mining. You can take this game as seriously or as relaxed as you'd like, and I love that about it. Balancing your lives with the 3 different locations gives you a ton of different ways to play and interact with the game, giving you the ability to cater your experience with it to exactly what you're looking for on any given day. If you're like me and just kind of brush this game to the side, I highly recommend you reconsider picking this game up. I absolutely am in love with it. It's probably my favorite game that I've played on the Nintendo Switch 2 so far. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below if you plan on picking up Fantasy Life I, or if you already picked up Fantasy Life I, and let me know your thoughts and opinions on the game. But like I said, that is it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. It helps me out, helps the video out, and helps the channel out immensely. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace.